Hello everyone, I'm Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. We are reacting once again to Brett Cooper, and this one is called Who Gave Snow White This Attitude? Oh, there's been so much going on with this Snow White adaptation, or live action adaptation. So let's see what's going on.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. We are talking yet again about another Disney remake because that is a huge topic of conversation online because they won't stop doing them. No. That is how they're making their money these days, or actually lack thereof, because I think they're losing money on it, but they're desperately trying to make these remakes work. Now, a few weeks ago, pictures from the new Snow White live action remake went viral and people had a field day with it, rightfully so, because it looks absolutely atrocious and ridiculous. First of all, there was only one dwarf. One actual dwarf, the token dwarf, and the rest of them literally look like crackheads that are stumbling out of a San Francisco Whole Foods. And also, we were reminded that the girl playing Snow White isn't actually Snow White after all, which should not have surprised anybody. It is 2023.
At this point, they should just call it something else, because at this point, it is not Snow White. The thing about Snow White is, it's said that she has a skin as white as snow. And yet we have this woman who's brown sugar. It's just, and we only have one dwarf. It's Snow White and the 7 dwarves. We have one dwarf and 6 fucking crackheads. It's no longer Snow White.
You can't hire a white girl to play Snow White. Anyway, to be honest, the actress's race and the crackhead dwarves have become the least of my concerns after what I saw the last couple of weeks. Before we get into this though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. Okay, so this new live action Snow White is actually written by Greta Gerwig, who also wrote Barbie and Lady Bird and Frances Ha, and we've been talking about her a lot recently because of Barbie, but also she's one of my favorite writers and directors. I've liked her since high school, so this pains me because what she is doing with Snow White seems absolutely terrible.
Dude, I trusted you. I trusted her.
Because she's involved, I want to believe that this movie will have some redeeming qualities. Will I actually watch it? Probably not. But I hope that it does for those of you who do watch it. But the lead actresses, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, are making it very, very difficult for me to believe that there is anything redeeming about this project whatsoever. Now, I am sure that we have all seen this viral clip, but let's just watch again.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be,
Oh.
and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
Oh my god, it's a really incredible story. You're making this girl boss story based on an important father figure. Her father tells her to be brave.
It's no longer Snow White. If you're gonna make it like that, you're making it a completely different movie than what it actually was.
Brave and strong. Don't you think that there's a, something redeeming about men in this story? Oh, that just stood out to me. This is the first time I noticed that, even though I've watched this like 6 times now.
Just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
I am. Why do they look so smug? They both have that look on their face, just like the feminists, like, yeah, we're so much better than you. Anyway, so apparently, according to them and according to the writers of Snow White and Disney, women can't even want to be in love anymore. That's some outdated construct. Oh, that was back in the 30s when women actually wanted to be around men, actually wanted to be in love. Like, even though women in 2023, we still come home. Even the most girl bossy feminist girls out there that I know, they still come home. They cuddle up on the couch, and you know what they watch? Rom-coms. They watch rom-coms and BBC Jane Austen adaptations, and they eat ice cream because at the end of the day, we're still women, we still want to be in love, and we still like men. And we still want to find a man that will treat us well. But nope, that is a very outdated social construct. Can't have that anymore. That makes us weak and makes us look bad, even though that is literally who we are. That is not a bad thing. Like, oh my gosh, that is so 1930s, got to move away from that. Now it's funny because these seem to be the only talking points that these two actresses have been given because they are regurgitating them in literally every single interview that they have done. With the same smugness and pleasure around it, here's another one. Again, just as insufferable as the first.
The cartoon was made 85 years ago. It's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for. Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming in.
The movie was never based of anything they're trying to portray in this new one. I honestly wish this wokeness bullshit never made it into Hollywood. All it's done is ruin movies.
Into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's
Thank
the
you, Gal
proactive
Gadot.
one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant to where we are today.
She's the proactive one, even though she literally gets saved. Like, the whole story is her getting saved. She gets manipulated. She eats the poisonous apple. The prince has to come and save her. Is she just gonna, like, wake up like some kind of zombie from the dead? Like, here we go, I'm back up again. You don't need to know. Like, the whole narrative with her and the prince is her being saved. It makes no sense. It's almost laughable. Also relevant for today, like Gal Gadot saying that. Disney, have you ever considered that your fairy tales have actually stood the test of time because they are always relevant, because that is what a fairy tale is, because they have timeless, universal values and lessons that any person, regardless of their age, regardless of their generation, could connect to. That is why they are so important. That is why they have been around for hundreds of years. You didn't start these fairy tales. Grimm's fairy tales, that's where they came from. People love these for a reason, because of the values. You don't need to make this girl bossy to make it relevant for young women. That's totally beside the point. Maybe we don't need to reimagine this. Somebody commented and said, the Disney animation of Snow White was here to encourage the people during the Depression/war. She is patient and kind, which gives her her wish. Somebody else said Snow White is kind, hopeful, resilient. Those are traits worth representing. Nope, not anymore. Outdated. If a woman is kind, that means that she is weak. We cannot have that anymore, ladies. You must be bossy at all times. You must be bratty, smug, and single and unhappy. Then you will be relevant. Overall, since those first photos came out from set last month, people have just gotten progressively more angry about this entire project. Like, basically nobody is.
Oh, this entire thing was flamed into fucking oblivion. Especially the lead actress, whatever the fuck her name is. She has just been ungodly annihilated. I mean, pretty much 99% of the populace that knows Snow White and has seen Snow White has just absolutely has hated what they've been doing to this. I mean, pretty much nobody likes it at all.
Happy. That Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot interview talking about this dumbass new Snow White live action movie is so funny. Everyone working on this movie seems to hate the original. Why didn't we just make a brand new movie? I don't know, Jack. I ask that every single time I do one of these episodes. I would really, really love to know. There's a couple of TikToks. I mean, they've been all over my For You page right now, which I really appreciate.
Adriana Caselotti walked so that you could run Miss Ma'am. This role would not exist for you if that role had not existed for her in 1937. I know that you've rewritten it, and it's going to be about a Snow White that don't need no man to save her. Did you ever stop to think that in this day and age, that is exactly what we want? There are women in this world who want that fairy tale because all they've known is the exact opposite. And there are women who don't want to hear about rescuing themselves because they do it all the time. You are talking down on the first full-length animated feature in history. Generations upon generations, decades upon decades of Snow White being Snow White. The way you're stomping around complaining, you're acting like a toddler. You are a toddler.
It's such a good TikTok. Everything she said is so accurate, right down to saying women do not want to rescue themselves, because that's what we do literally every single day. Thank you, feminism. Thank you very, very much. Maybe we don't want to see that in a movie when that is literally what happens every single day. Let women have their fairy tales. That is the point of this entire episode. Here's another one. This guy was spot on.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one.
Okay, but why? Why? This is the part I really liked about the Barbie movie when they said, why can't there just be an ordinary Barbie? I loved that. Because the point of Snow White's fairy tale, isn't that she's gonna try and become a leader. That was never in the original fairy tale. That's not part of Snow White's story. She's not supposed to be this girl boss, leader, queen, feminist icon. And I don't know why every reimagining, it has to be that the woman is in a position of power.
Because we are in a matriarchy, sir. That's why.
Snow White in the original fairy tale survived 3 different assassination attempts. She lives for free in the dwarf's house and just bakes whatever she wants. She makes her own food. She's pretty much free to do whatever she wants. And Snow White was manipulated into taking a bite of that apple. It wasn't because she wasn't proactive enough or because she wasn't, you know, this feminist, go-getting leader woman. She took a bite of that apple because she was manipulated to. There was a really powerful older woman who was manipulating her the whole time.
Also, it's funny to me when they're talking about being proactive and making this all relevant, as if manipulation does not happen in 2023. As if young people are still not easily swayed. Like, wasn't Snow White 14 or 15 in the original story? I'm sorry that it...
How old was Snow White? Let me see. How old was Snow White? Let's check it out here. How old is Snow White? Yeah, 14. Wow, she was actually 14? Huh. I thought she was like 15, 16. But yeah, Snow White is 14.
At that age, she didn't know everything, that she was not the girl bossiest feminist leader queen yet. Like, I'm sorry, that's not good enough for you. That's just the story. This is still relevant. Being a young, innocent person, that's something we have all experienced. That is relevant in itself. Again, the values are timeless. You do not need to change them.
I don't know why in order to make a film more progressive, the woman can't have a focus on love or finding true love. They almost act like it's something to make fun of. When even in the original cartoon, she sings one song about finding her true love, the prince is in the movie for like a minute. Snow White wanted to find true love. That's fine, most of us do. She didn't really set out to be a leader. Not all of us do. Sometimes you just want to be in the middle of a forest baking pies. And some of us want to be saved by a prince. I know I do.
Even he gets it. We just want...
Here's the thing. If you want some badass female protagonist in a movie, you have them already. One of the most badass female protagonists, honestly, my favorite that I grew up with was from the Alien movies, Ripley. I don't know her full name in the movie, but I know her as Ripley. She is one of the most absolute badass females ever. There's her, there's Alice from the Resident Evil series movies, and there's Lara Croft. She's games and movies, she's fucking badass. And she can kick some ass too. I mean, they're it's like you're trying to it's like they're purposely trying to make these females. They're, how do I put this? There's a way to make a badass female, and then there's the badass females they're trying to shove down people's throats, and that's what they're doing with this, with Snow White. They're trying to shove this woke feminist sort of girl boss Snow White down people's throats that nobody wants. Nobody wanted this. You want to do a live action Snow White? Be true to the actual fairy tale. Be true to the actual movie that was made in 1937? Be true to it. But if you want to make something like this, don't call it Snow White. Call it something else, because what you're making is something completely and utterly different from Snow White. You are not making Snow White. I've seen Snow White. I liked the movie. It was a great cartoon. I'd even want to watch it again.
Want to be out in the forest baking pies. We want to watch a movie sometimes that shows a nice happy ending, and it's okay if a woman gets saved by a man for 2 minutes in an entire movie.
It's weird too. It's like, why do these people have such a problem with a man saving a woman? The trope of the damsel in distress. What is wrong with that? I mean, why do these, from what this shows, these Karens have such a problem with the woman being saved by a man? I don't see the problem with it. It doesn't make the woman any worse or horrible.
Unacceptable!
Okay, and then last video, because we just really have to drive the point home that people are riled up about this for good reason. Again, this is like the turning point for people in Disney remakes.
Everyone's talking about this video, but you know what pisses me off about it? Like, obviously it's annoying that they're changing the whole story. They didn't cast any door. What makes me so annoyed is how smug they are about it. Like, I'm just so sick of celebrities and people with fame and money and power. Like, they're just in a constant circle jerk with each other all the time. And we're just like forced to participate in it. I want fantasy. I don't want more, you need to work and you need to be a leader. And like, I don't want to do any of those things. I want my Prince Charming. I want him to kiss me on the lips. And I want him to think I'm the most beautiful girl in the world.
I feel like this Snow White controversy is single-handedly like rolling back feminism. Like, all these women are watching Rachel Zegler on their phones, on their social media. They're hating her because she's absolutely destroying this role. Disney and Greta Gerwig are also destroying this whole story, and they're realizing that what they really want is that original fantasy. They want the princess story, and that's not a bad thing. And they're realizing that they have been programmed to believe that it is the worst thing on this earth. Like, I'm sorry if I want to bake pies in the woods and just flit around with my animals, which in 2023 means, you know, baking chocolate chip cookies at 3 a.m. and hanging out with Rocky, because you guys know I love Rocky and I love Tater. There's very little that I love more than my dogs, which is why I love being partners with Rough Greens. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis by now use vitamin that they're all a ton of greens is greens. It's that offering and real air off your door.
Sorry, but I want to skip
Rachel's
this.
mind looks in all of these interviews because she looks sour, to say the least. Somebody said, yes, I need the romance. I feel like it's pushing career mode on us too. I work every day. I need the romance to escape. Another person said, so we're all in agreement that none of us are watching this movie. Somebody else said, if the writers/actors strike takes anything away, I hope that it is this movie.
Yeah, even me, I love romance, but I don't watch like live action romance TV shows or anything. I watch romance animes because, in my opinion, anime portrays romance and stuff so much better than live action. It's more entertaining to watch than live action. I mean, the only sort of TV shows I've ever really watched anymore was Supernatural when it was still going. It's sad that it's gone, but you know, I prefer anime over live action.
Someone else said, let Snow White be a woman who yearns for love and leads with kindness. That's the bare minimum, literally. Like, do whatever else you want with the movie, just keep those values. Again, the bare minimum. Somebody else said, yes, I'm tired of rescuing myself, being my own best friend. I want to know I'm loved and cherished. I want love stories. Like, that's so sad that that's something that women are asking for in film and TV. I mean, I know what you guys are going to say. It's their own fault. It's feminism, which it is. Third and fourth wave feminism, they did that. But you know what? A lot of women are tired. A lot of women did not ask for this, just like myself. And to be fair, and I have to make sure I'm clear about this, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, they are just the messengers. They are the medium through which this message is reaching people. Disney and Greta Gerwig, even though I like her, they really screwed this one up with how they are telling the story, and people are not having it. But, like I said at the beginning, the women they cast for these roles are just making the situation worse with how they're defending them. Like that last TikToker said, nobody cares. The rest of America, your audience does not care. Somebody tweeted and said, Rachel Zegler has such an attitude about Snow White as a character, it's genuinely off-putting. Her and Gal Gadot are being such pick-me's over this movie. Like, who's gonna watch it if the protagonist and antagonist are behaving like mean girls? Definitely not me. Another person said, I just love how Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot are sabotaging Snow White before it even comes out. Somebody else said, I have no idea who the f Rachel Zegler is, but now I don't like her because of the way she talks about Snow White. LMFAO. Also, Disney, WTF are you doing? It's a classic. Not every single movie today needs to be about women in power. We can have movies about princesses being saved by a prince. Again, shocking, crazy. Don't say that in 2023. I just still cannot get over Rachel Zegler's tone in all of these videos, the smugness, and that has been a huge part of the conversation online about Snow White, especially after this latest video came out of her at the picket line for the SAG-AFTRA strike. And remember, SAG-AFTRA, that is the actors union. They are on strike right now, trying to get fair wages, trying to rework some contracts. Anyway, here's what she had to say about the strike.
If I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
If I'm gonna stand in a dress all day long, we do that, women do that anyway. You know what? We walk around in dresses and we don't get paid for it. Rachel. She makes me so angry, just her tone. Come on, like, I'm an actor, I understand. Like, I get that the contract and the residual structure is outdated. I understand why people want to strike. I'm in SAG, I know. I was not in favor of the strike though, but again, I get what is going on. But this is no way to get people on your side. Ugh, I literally am making millions of dollars doing this Disney movie and I have to stand around and wear a dress all day long. I want to be paid more. Do you think that people in middle America are gonna care? Do you think that the Disney execs are going to care? Absolutely not. Acting can be a hard job. You work very long hours. Some roles are very emotionally or physically taxing. That is a fact. It totally consumes your life, which is probably the hardest part of that entire industry. But the people who work the hardest jobs in this country, the ones who actually keep things moving, they will laugh at you for this because it is absolutely absurd, especially when the celebrities get involved saying, I want to be paid more. You're making millions off of this Disney movie. If anybody needs to talk about this, it would be the day players, the people who just pop into a TV show for 5 seconds. Like, they're the ones who actually should be talking if they want to. And even going back to Hollywood, like the crew members who actually make these movies, who work harder and work longer hours than the actors, they don't get your $1 million paycheck. They don't have a residual structure to update. You just seem ungrateful and angry. This is like Bryan Cranston last week talking about AI taking jobs from actors, as if he and his peers did not advocate for the Rust Belt industries to be automated and sent overseas, or, coal mine and the Keystone Pipeline to be shut down for the environment, which cost millions of Americans their jobs. But most of America is not going to be sympathetic, especially not.
Yeah, with this celebrity strike thing, a lot of those celebrities I know are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. They can complain all they want. I don't give a shit. I really don't. They make tens, if not hundreds of times more than I do a year. Why should I care that they don't make millions more or hundreds of thousands more? It's fucking stupid. The people who should be actually the strike, like she said, are the ones that, the ones who show up for a few minutes or seconds in one of these movies or shows, or the people who actually who are not the actors. I mean, if they complain, I'll understand, but these celebrities who are striking just because they're not making millions more, I don't give a fucking shit. Like she said, most middle America, we don't care. We really do not.
With Rachel Zegler's attitude. And considering that Snow White is supposed to be innocent and kind and charitable and sweet and cheerful, I'd say that we are in for an absolute doozy of a performance from this chick, Rachel.
Yeah. They have basically effectively just made it so that nobody is going to see this movie. This movie is probably going to do worse than Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action version of The Last Airbender. I'm going to predict it now, it's going to do worse than that. Because in my opinion, out of every live action movie that has ever been made, The Last Airbender was the absolute worst. It was. I think so far it has still gotten the most worst movie awards than any other live action adaptation so far. It was so ungodly horrible. I swear to God, M. Night Shyamalan, who directed it and everything, I don't think he's seen a single Last Airbender episode when he made that. The names are mispronounced. The bending was god awful. People did a flurry of moves and then a singular small rock moves for the earthbenders. It's like, seriously? And the firebenders needed a flame source? Please. So, Snow White, I'm betting it's going to do worse than the Last Airbender live action adaptation. That's my prediction. It's going to do worse. All because of this woman whose name I refuse to remember, and Gal Gadot. So, I hope you'll enjoy the video. Links to my social medias and my Twitch are in the description below. If there's any other videos you'd like to see me react to, please make sure to comment them below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.